Have you ever been in a room full of people, sharing a story you thought was important, only to realize halfway through that no one's really listening? Pauses, nodding slowly. Maybe they're scrolling on their phones or talking over you, or worse, patting your arm and saying, "That's nice, dear," like you're a child showing off a crayon drawing. Let me tell you something. You are not nice. You are fascinating. You are valuable. And if life after 60 has left you feeling like a shadow of your former self, it's time to step back into the light. Today, we're talking about 6 powerful ways to rebuild your confidence, reclaim your voice, and remind the world and yourself just how extraordinary you are. These aren't quick fixes or empty pep talks. These are strategies I've watched transform lives, including my own. Let's start with the first step. Redefining what value means after 60.4 decades. Many of us tied our worth to what we did, raising families, building careers, ticking off to-do lists. But here's the truth. Retirement, empty nests, or slower seasons don't make you irrelevant. They make you wise. Take my friend Joan. At 68, she confessed to me, "I used to run boardrooms. Now I feel like my biggest accomplishment is remembering where I put my keys." Sound familiar? But here's what Joan did next. She started a journal. Every night, she wrote down one thing she contributed that day, even if it was just making her grandson laugh or giving honest advice to a neighbor. Within weeks, Joan noticed something. Her small acts were anything but that listening ear for her neighbor. It helped her avoid a scam. That silly joke with her grandson, it became his favorite memory of her. Your turn. Grab a notebook or a napkin, I don't care, and write down one moment today where you made a difference. Did you share a smile with a stranger? Offer hard-earned wisdom? Even tending your garden nourishes the earth. That's value. Now, once you've started redefining your worth, it's time to tackle the next step. Using your body language to command attention. I know what you're thinking. Posture? Really? But hear me out. When we feel invisible, we shrink. We slump. We speak to the floor instead of making eye contact. And here's the kicker. People treat us how we ask to be treated. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Frank. After his wife passed, he started walking like he was apologizing for existing. Head down, hands in pockets. One day, his daughter said, "Dad, you look lost." So Frank tried an experiment. For 1 week, he walked like he was the mayor of the neighborhood, shoulders back, waving at everyone. Even if he didn't feel like it. Day 3, strangers were stopping him to chat. The barista at the cafe remembered his coffee order. His old golf buddies invited him back to the course. Try this tomorrow. Before you leave the house, stand in front of the mirror and say, "I belong here." Then walk like you mean it. You don't need to be loud or bold, just present. And here's the secret. Confidence isn't about feeling ready. It's about acting ready until your heart catches up. But what about when old insecurities creep back in? When you worry you're too old to try something new? Well, that's where our third strategy comes in. Rewriting the stories you tell yourself. We all have that nagging voice in our heads. Who do you think you are? Or it's too late. But what if you talk to yourself like you talk to your dearest friend? Years ago, I signed up for a painting class. On the first day, I nearly bolted. My inner critic hissed, "You're 62. Stick to crossword puzzles." But then I thought, what would I say to my granddaughter if she felt this way? So I stayed. And guess what? I wasn't Picasso, but I left with something better. Proof that I could still grow. Start today. When that critical voice pipes up, pause and ask, is this kindness or fear? Then rewrite the script. I'm not too old. I'm seasoned. I'm not out of touch. I'm a bridge between generations. Now, these 3 steps, redefining value, owning your presence, and rewriting your inner dialogue, they're just the beginning. Because once you've laid this groundwork, something shifts. The world starts to see you again. But more importantly, you start to see yourself. And trust me, the best is yet to come. You know, there's a certain magic that happens when you decide to stop waiting for permission to shine. It's like lighting a candle in a dim room. Suddenly, everything feels warmer, brighter, possible. Now that we've laid the groundwork, redefining your value, owning your presence, and rewriting those inner stories, it's time to step into the spotlight. Let's talk about our 4th strategy, embracing the power of firsts. When was the last time you did something for the first time? I'm not talking about skydiving, though if that's your dream, go for it. I mean those small, delicious risks that make your heart hum. Take my friend Evelyn. At 71, she signed up for a beginner's salsa class on a whim. I tripped over my own feet for weeks, she told me. But then one day, I realized I wasn't afraid of looking silly anymore. I was too busy laughing. And here's the kicker. That salsa class led to a community theater audition, then a part in a local play. Now, at 74, Evelyn's the cool grandma who drags her grandkids to open mic nights. Your turn. What's one tiny first you can try this week? Maybe it's downloading a language app, planting an unfamiliar flower, or even ordering something new at your favorite diner. The goal isn't perfection. It's proving to yourself that curiosity doesn't have an expiration date. Now, stepping into new adventures is powerful, but let's not forget the flip side. Letting go of what or who dims your light. We've all got that one friend who says, "At our age, why bother?" Or the family member who dismisses your ideas with a condescending, "Isn't that for younger people?" Here's the hard truth. Not everyone will cheer for your reinvention. And that's okay. My brother, Tom, spent years stuck in a book club he hated because he didn't want to rock the boat. The meetings were all gossip, no substance. Then one day he quit and joined a history lecture group instead. You know what happened? The old group barely noticed. But Tom, he's now the star of his new group. They even asked him to lead a discussion on the Civil War. Try this. Make a list of the people, habits, or obligations that drain your energy. You don't have to burn bridges. Just start gently redirecting your time. Say, "I'm scaling back on committees this year," or "I found a new hobby that excites me." Protect your spark like the precious gift it is. And here's the beautiful part. When you clear space for joy, you attract people who fuel it. Which brings us to our fifth strategy. Building a tribe that sees your fire. I'll never forget meeting Ruth, a 67-year-old who just moved to a new city. She felt lonely, invisible, until she joined a volunteer group maintaining hiking trails. Turns out, Ruth's tribe wasn't who she expected. It was a mix of college kids, retirees, and a 58-year-old yoga instructor who's now her pickleball partner. Your move: think beyond your usual circles. Join a library book club, take a pottery workshop, or even start a weekly coffee meetup at the park. And when you meet someone who makes you feel alive, say so. "I've loved our chat. Could we do this again?" Connection isn't about numbers. It's about depth. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if I'm shy? What if I fail? Let me tell you a secret. Every time I walk into a room full of strangers, I still get butterflies. But then I remember, those butterflies, they're not fear, they're excitement. Proof that I'm growing, stretching, living. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unearthing the you that's been there all along. The one who's curious, resilient, and utterly deserving of joy. But we're not done yet. There's one final step, a game changer that ties all these strategies together. And trust me, it's simpler than you think. You know, there's a question I ask myself every morning when I step into this garden. What will I plant today? Not just in the soil, but in my soul. Because the truth is, confidence isn't a destination. It's a daily choice to water your own worth. And that brings us to our final, most powerful strategy: celebrating your legacy every single day. This isn't a scrapbook. It's a proof book. Proof that I've lived, loved, and left marks only I could leave. Let me tell you about my friend Clara. At 78, she felt her best years were behind her, until her granddaughter asked, "Nana, what's one thing you're proud of that nobody knows about?" Clara paused. Then she confessed she'd secretly written poems for decades but never shared them. Her granddaughter's response? "Can I read them? Please, asterisk." Asterisk, those poems are now framed in her granddaughter's home. One even hangs in the local library. Clara's legacy isn't just her words. It's the courage to finally say, "This matters. I matter." Your turn? What's your poem? Maybe it's family recipes, woodworking, or the way you comfort a friend. Write it, share it, or simply say it aloud to your mirror. Legacy isn't about grandeur. It's about saying, "I was here, and it meant something." Now, let's tie all these strategies together, shall we? We've talked about redefining your value, standing tall even when you're unsure, rewriting those inner doubts, embracing firsts, letting go of what dims your light, building your tribe, and now, honoring your legacy. But here's the secret sauce. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just pick one tiny action today. Text a friend. I've been thinking about trying a surf. Want to join me? Or say no to a commitment that drains you. Or simply look in the mirror and say, I'm not done yet. I'll leave you with a story about my late mother. She took up tap dancing at 72. Oh, she was terrible. But every Thursday, she'd put on her sparkly shoes and clack around that studio like she owned it. One day, a teenager in the class said, Miss Betty, you're my hero. I want to be like you when I'm old. Mama wasn't just dancing. She was teaching that girl, and herself. That joy doesn't retire, so, my friends, what's your sparkly shoes moment? It doesn't have to be loud or polished. It just has to be yours. If you take one thing from our time together, let it be this. The world needs your voice, your stories, your light, not because you're wise for your age, but because you're alive. And as long as you're breathing, you have something to offer. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Did you try salsa dancing? Share a poem? Or simply stand a little taller today? Tell me in the comments. Let's create a chorus of courage. And if this resonated with you, do me a kindness. Hit that like button so others can find this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We're building a community where no one fades into the background. Before I go, remember, getting older isn't about disappearing. It's about becoming unmissable. So go out there and shine so brightly. They'll need sunglasses to look at you. Here's to your next act. Darling, it's going to be spectacular.